got a few questions. Questions. Where do you get your protein from? Isn't it expensive to be vegan? Questions. I got a few questions. Haven't we evolved to eat meat? It's natural. I got a few questions.
Shh. I will not be
It's
censored.
Welcome to another episode of Shh. It's vegan. My name is Manny.
And I'm Danny.
And we're the Vegan Gents. Today we're going to talk about technology and how it has influenced the vegan community or all communities. But let's talk about vegan. How do you think technology has allowed veganism to spread?
I believe that technology
The children of our future.
it's the future, man. It's like
The future. We're already in it. How
it's-
old are you?
I don't know.
You're fossil.
I'm old. So yeah, technology has helped the entire vegan community in a way that is so unheard of before. It is allowed to spread the message of the uneaten gospel.
Are you saying veganism is a cult?
Could be, depending on who you talk to. And again.
He likes using the word
I like to use my yes.
I think is like his second favorite word.
I enjoy it. I embrace
Beyond
That's who I am. See, technology is allowing me to say the word and a lot, but that's just who we are. Technology has allowed a lot of people just to understand what veganism is.
What is veganism?
Veganism. It is when you are a person from the planet Vega.
Okay. Yes, that's you know what? I second that definition. Change approved.
But to be completely honest, I feel like it has just hit a wall. I don't feel like it goes anywhere beyond what we've done, or maybe what other people have done. I really haven't seen a lot of ingenuity and innovation when it comes to technology and veganism beyond like the cooking aspect, like how certain foods now are being processed in a different environment or different ways, and technology is automated, making like cheese or something like that,
sure.
Or hail seitan, and that's about it. But I haven't seen it like anything. Like I don't know how else would it go. Like where would it go?
Innovation. Like I think that even in the vegan community, being that we are human and we like to evolve through innovation, we need to step into the more modern age of technology and utilize technology to its full capacity when it comes to either spreading the word of veganism or at least influencing the vegan community through technology.
But what does that mean? What does that look like?
Put out more interactive videos. Like there's so much technology. There's so much use of technology. Like for instance, there should be hundreds of vegan apps out there dedicated to people who want to know more about veganism, or I don't know.
I would like to see, but I would love, and not actually, you know what? I wouldn't. I would hate to see this because I'm not a big fan of these videos. Those videos of like, like slaughterhouses or, like animals being abused. I feel like those are horrible videos, and I don't know if anybody's even done like scientific research if those videos actually have an impact. You know what I mean?
Like what kind of impact?
Like how many people actually said that they're going to become vegan, or they felt from watching that, or they felt inspired to go down that direction. I would love to see a study.
Why did you become vegan? Like your own personal.
Well, let me
choice.
backtrack before I get crazy.
Sorry.
But I would love to see those videos like in a virtual reality form to make it like real. Like if you go and do one of those videos, make it real.
Oh, so you're talking about like real, like virtual reality activism.
Virtual reality activism. It's a lot more fun, and terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get terrified even watching them.
Using technology. That's like people are so like.
Do you think that there should be
flushed? Like,
do you think there should be like a censor before they click on the video, knowing what they're about to watch?
Not a censor, but more like a
warning,
waiver. A waiver.
Warning. Like, hey, warning. This
This
video
is gonna fuck your shit up. Yeah. blood,
sort of content.
guts,
Yeah.
Bessie getting a nail around her forehead between the
Ah!
eyes. You know, like
Yes.
it's a thing.
I know.
Warning.
What do you think about that? You know, okay, I know we're talking about technology, but on a side note, what do you think about vegans sharing that kind of content to fellow vegans?
Well, they do it on the internet. That's technology.
I'm asking you.
I don't
why do
like
you
it.
think- right?
I mean,
I'm just saying,
I get it, Brenda.
It's
like,
the wrong
I've seen the video.
audience.
Yeah, like you're preaching to the choir, boo. Like I've seen it, I know it, I'm aware of it.
What do you think they're doing? You think they're trying to reinforce our veganism?
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that very similar to what some religious organizations do in terms of forcing you constantly to remind you constantly
they're going to hell?
Of if you don't do XYZ, you're going to XYZ. So I think that, you know, some people, and I admire people who like to post that stuff because that takes a lot of bravery to be that kinds of vegan activist. But it seems like it's always posted on vegans' pages on Facebook or vegan pages on Instagram for other vegans to see, because it's almost unlikely that a non-vegan is going to stumble upon your page if your title was called vegan activist.
Yeah.
So whoever's on your page as a vegan activist are most likely going to be vegan.
You know what would be cool if they did like a
maybe that's what technology can do. You can
Yeah.
create an algorithm to determine who's watching the videos that you're posting.
exactly.
What
What
is the audience?
would be cool is kind of, I feel like those videos are kind of,
Oh, there is one of those on Facebook actually. You know, like an algorithm to determine who's your audience, who's watching your pages most.
I would love to see that data. Cambridge.
Me too, because then
Analytics.
it'll determine whether there's actually an effect, and if there is an effect, who is it affecting?
Yeah, right. I need to know. Inquiring minds.
Because even me as a vegan, I'm already a vegan. I've been a vegan for a while. So watching those videos still sort of set a traumatic experience for me. And so I don't think I want to watch those videos. I'm already vegan. I do as much as I can already as a vegan to not contribute to that behavior. So for me to have to be shocked and seeing that because I watched a vegan's page, it makes me wonder. Like, it makes me wonder who is the message for, and how can I use technology to maybe monitor it? Because I don't want to lose friends in the vegan community because of this, but I also don't want to be bombarded with all of this atrocity in terms of animal cruelty, because I already know about it. I've watched every documentary.
We're aware.
We're pretty much aware.
We get it.
And I know we got to keep it alive to remember, but I don't know to what extent it's actually being effective.
Right.
Or are we pushing people away?
I feel like those videos are probably really good but it's like on a very specific, not even context, but specific journeys through people's lives. Like if you were just dipping your toes into it and you saw that video, it could go, depending where you are in your personal journey, it could be like, oh my God, I need to do this for the baby, the baby chickens, or you're like, oh my God, these people are crazy. Who's sending me this? Who would actually send something like this on the internet? Like, it just turns people off. So it depends on, but for like me, when we were going through I was doing my transition to a more clean, healthier, caring lifestyle. Those videos did kind of keep me on the straight and narrow, just a little bit for me personally, because I took responsibility for what I did in the past and what I will do in the future if I don't change. You know what I mean? So like seeing like baby chickens being thrown into a grinder, that's a thing. That video kind of like reminds me, like, it's not about you, Brenda. It's about them, the baby chickens, and the earth, and my own personal health is where it's kind of like the last. But I think that we talked about this a lot. You know, if you don't do veganism for ethical reasons, if it never gets to that point, it doesn't stick.
It almost doesn't stick. Yeah,
it doesn't stick. So like when people say like, oh, I used to be vegan, like you were never vegan. You adopted a vegan lifestyle.
Yeah.
Being vegan means
you borrowed it.
You borrowed it. You put it on for size, and you were like, these Stella McCartney boots are too expensive, and I can't. But like if you go past that threshold of like, oh my God, how can I eat this egg knowing that its brother is thrown into a giant plastic bag and suffocated to death?
I have to admit, I don't think like when I watch that video, I see the correlation. because even as a vegan, I'm educated about animal cruelty and about the slaughterhouses and about what goes on behind the scenes, and I still don't see the correlation between, because we're so monetarized in our society in terms of what meat looks like. I don't see the correlation. So I don't know if I understand for you. You said it has the impact to reinforce and keep you on the straight and narrow in terms of compassion. But for me personally, it does have an effect. It has an effect. I'm not sure if it has an effect that causes me to be vegan. It has an effect just causing me to be compassionate in general and to look at what we do as a society. But we do a lot of bad things in our society that we turn a blind eye to. So would it make sense to constantly be exposing people to this? And if we do have to expose people to these kind of things constantly to remind us, are we missing the point here? Are we missing the point that we have a society that just is built around this idea that in order to get something done, we have to do those things. We have to expose people to the atrocities of society, and so we can reinforce it. Do you think that what we're doing is preventing the inevitable, or do you think that we have to hold a leash on people in order for them to stay on the straight and narrow or stay compassionate?
I don't know.
Do you eventually evolve into not needing that leash anymore? There's a history about elephants in the circus, and what they would do, they would tie ropes to the elephant's legs, and then as babies, and they tie them to these huge poles, and for weeks on end the babies would stay in those positions where they couldn't move. And what it would do, it would train the elephant's mind to feel like every time the rope is on them that they can't move. So when the elephant became big and became an adult, clearly the tent poles aren't going to hold it, but the idea of the rope being on their leg gave them the impression they couldn't move. So I wonder if that's what we're doing. We're subconsciously training ourselves by over enforcing it to the point where it just automatically sticks. Or is there a different approach to transitioning people into the world of compassionate veganism? And is this the best approach? And if it's not, then
maybe that's what I was saying. Maybe if we did it in more, if people saw it in a virtual reality format, it might be more emotionally sticking, because I feel like the purpose of those videos is to show, look, animals are suffering, and but it makes much more of an impact if it's in a virtual reality or if you're physically there. But again, I've seen videos where they had these BuzzFeed people were like, I love fried chicken, and they went and they had to cook fried chicken, from scratch. And I'm talking about grabbing the chicken, slitting its throat, and then in all of it, and doing all of that. And they still said, yeah. And some of them were like, I'm just never going to eat chicken again.
Yeah.
And then some people,
time passes.
And then time passes, and they probably do. And then there was one person in there. He's like, nope, I'm fine with it. I don't care. Chicken is chicken. Mm-hmm. It's here for me to eat. And I feel like sometimes it just doesn't matter what the video does, even if they physically do it. Some people just
have this idea.
Just have the idea that they're here for us to eat.
Yeah, and that's I understand that, because we were raised in a society that has taught us that. Yeah. So do you think that the people that are launching these videos are just casting a wide net and hoping that something sticks?
Yeah, probably.
However, if it's having a negative effect on people and people are turning away against veganism because of what we expose them to in such an abrupt way, do you think that we're losing people as well?
Probably, but it's more of like a numbers game. It's more of like,
but you shouldn't treat people like a numbers game, because if you want them to become compassionate but on their own, you have to find out who they are as individuals, because that's what connects people to making that ultimate change. And I think that when we ridicule people for taking baby steps and not taking those abrupt steps, then we discourage them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Baby,
it's up in the air still.
It's up in the air. I don't know.
But anyway, so technology. So you think that...
So technology.
I got a few questions. Where do you get your protein from? Isn't it expensive to be vegan? Questions. I got a few questions. Haven't we evolved to eat meat? It's natural. I got a few questions.
Shh. It's vegan.